What is up, everybody? Welcome back to Outside the Cage. I'm your co-host, Jalen, with my brother Eric. How we doing, brother?
Doing pretty good. I don't know what happened to my face right here. It just got blurry as hell, but man, I got no idea. There we go. Got focused
there you
again.
Go. You're back a little bit. You're back.
No, I can focus. I'm doing pretty well. We had a weird card this weekend, though. UFC Atlantic City. People are saying man on Fiora might be a man. I didn't say that. I just heard it. Chris Weidman, weird victory. Ruzi Boev, weird victory. Start at the top, though. Man on Fiora takes care of business pretty easily versus Aaron Blanchfield. Didn't really look like Blanchfield had anything to offer her. What was your takeaway from that one?
Yeah, just pure dominance. I mean, 50-45, all three cards. Not what I expected, but I'm not surprised. Furiat's legit. I thought Blanchfield was this where she was going to take the next step. I thought she already was on that next step, but just shows you that there's just levels to this, and you're not ready till you're ready.
Yeah, facts, dude. The age experience, just the maturity. I feel like you could see it in there. Fiorat's jacked too, bro. Her back looks like a guy's kind of, dude. She was throwing some nice punches. Every time Blanchfield would try to kind of do that little trip in the grappling exchanges, Fiorat just was not worried about it. She just ragdolled her. And she even landed a takedown in the first round. And I didn't really even see Blanchfield shoot a single or double leg. It was kind of weird. She was just kept trying to do that little trip thing in the clinch. And Fiorat saw it coming from a mile away. It was a bummer of a card, dude. And I've got to say, this is the first time I can recall, besides the Brazil card, seeing fans leave before the main event. During the Weidman fight, it was packed in there. And then during the Blanchfield fight, it was not packed, even before the fight started. And I kind of understood it because it was a late card. It was about 9:30, 10 our time. So it was 1 a.m. over there. I was surprised by that. I was very surprised. They did a Vegas or California start time.
Yeah.
They want to start San Diego at 10 in the morning.
Yeah. I thought I had a late night, and I got home and the main event was starting. I was like, damn.
Crazy.
Yeah.
But
I think I fell asleep before the main event. I rewatched it back today, but I think I fell asleep.
That was most people right there, dude, after the Weidman victory. And speaking of that Weidman victory, a weird one, a double eye poke knockout, some are saying. I rolled a clip just in case any of y'all missed it. A lot of y'all probably did because it wasn't the most amazing card. But here it is.
That is a nasty eye poke. Kind of again, both hands. And this is where we thought that he dropped him with a check hook. No, he did. But you see, as he's on his way down, he's holding his face.
Yeah, that's not, I mean, those are two pokes. I don't think that punch even landed clean. Oh, boy.
Well, so now,
what do we do now? Like, what?
What made it even worse is that right when Bruno Silva got up, he didn't really look like he was knocked out. He kind of just went right to the ref and he's like, come on, my eye. You could kind of see him say, my eye. And it was literally a 1-2, bro, with the open hands. And it's a tough situation because if you're the ref, that's a hard one to step in there that quickly. I mean, sometimes you see him do it. It's tough, though.
It's such a hard sport to ref when incidents like that happen because it's just so bang bang. Like, he went to the ground, now he's getting stomped out. So it's like you don't know. I mean, I guess you gotta get go back to review like they kind of do now with the eye pokes and with the nut shots. But just in that, it's just hard in that moment. You never really, and it can just everything can be a lot different. Like you never know, you know.
Yeah, once you call the fight too, that kind of changes everything right there. Sucks, dude. It sucks for Silva because he still has to deal with everything that comes with losing a UFC fight, getting half his pay, moving down the rankings, getting a lower spot on the next card, probably being out for a little bit longer now. And
Yeah.
to be fair, Weidman was going to win that fight. He won the first 2 rounds pretty convincingly. There were a couple eye pokes already mixed in there, though. There's a pretty bad one in the second round. So it's tricky. The UFC changed the ruling to a unanimous decision very shortly after.
Yeah.
I think everyone's pretty confused because it's not a black and white incident, really. MMA has a lot of gray areas. I mean, we have judges scoring the fights, not a scoreboard like a lot of other sports do. So here's what one of the godfathers, one of the people who created the unified rules of MMA, Big John McCarthy, had to say on his McCarthy podcast. I won't read this whole thing, but if you want to, you could pause it and read it, if you're just watching. But he basically says Chris was already winning the fight. So I knew Chris was going to win the fight. And it's kind of hard to summarize it without reading the whole thing. But he basically said since it happened in the third round, it was the right choice to still give Weidman a victory instead of the unanimous decision because he had already won 2 rounds. So even if you take the finish away from him, he would still win on the cards. If it had happened in the second round, then you couldn't, even if Weidman had won the first and had been winning the second, you still couldn't give him the decision because he didn't already have 2 rounds in the bank. But he had those 2 rounds in the bank, so they were able to go to the scorecards, almost like a baseball game getting rained out in the 8th inning or something after they've already played 5. I don't know if that's a great analogy.
Yeah, but so like in baseball, it's like after so many innings, it becomes official. So if it stops, then it's official. But like, it's just you can't do that in fighting. How many times have we seen walk-off KOs or last-second knockouts?
Yep, Leon
especially
Usman.
off something that the person that ended up winning the fight did. So like Weidman poked him. So if I'm winning a fight in the third round, I could just poke the guy in the eye and I win. If I feel him coming on strong, that's what Izzy should have done to fucking Pereira the first time they fought. Poke him in the eye, he would have fucking won.
It's a tough one. I might have summarized it wrong too, but it seemed like that was the gist of what he was saying.
Yeah.
Man, that's what makes this sport so great though. Sometimes there's just really not one right answer.
Yeah.
Chris Weidman had a funny quote on it. He said you can't go down in that situation. Everyone gets poked in the eye. You gotta stand up and like hold your eye. Because say he was able to stay on his feet holding your eye like that, the ref's definitely gonna step in.
Yeah.
You would think. But that gets us to our next fight where that did not happen. Cedricus Dumas and Nursultan Ruziboev. I was really excited for this fight. It looked like it was going to be a banger. And I got a couple videos. First, I'll play the eye poke, and then I'll play what happened right after.
There was no. Oh, it's there. That one was coming up. That's what it was on the right side. We couldn't see the fingers there, so I don't want to totally assume, but usually in those exchanges.
And then right after that.
And then Dumas did that, which is not.
It's very coincidental, though, isn't it? That the fingers did go out. They did scrape across his face, and then that's when he immediately protested. So even though it didn't look like much to us, I am inclined.
It's time to call Trevor Whitman and get those gloves that he created.
That was my big takeaway from this card, dude. That seems like the right answer right there. Because I've heard fighters commenting on these couple fights saying you can't fully blame the fighters because it's hard to like close your fist more than you're used to closing them when you're training. And
no one really trains with MMA gloves, with UFC gloves.
Or just different MMA gloves or boxing gloves so you don't break your hands. Yeah. And then you get into these and your hands are just stuck like this apparently, and you really have to close them. It makes it tough.
I was thinking this earlier. Isn't it crazy how like once kind of the tone of the fight night is set, that kind of like the whole fight night just felt weird. There was eye pokes, like so then that eye poke happens, a Weidman eye poke happens, and the main event's just a boring. Like, isn't it crazy how like I don't know, it's just
the energy.
If it starts banging early, like it's gonna like when we went to San Diego, like it was bangers first 2-3 fights, and then just go on or just fucking bangers. Like I mean, you just take the like energy of the crowd.
Yeah, dude. And then there's times where the prelims will be going nuts, and then the main event kind of just like falls off,
Yeah.
vice versa. But yeah, and then or like Orlando, where or San Diego shit's just.
Yeah.
I love those cards so much more. And then also on this card, Petrosky got knocked out shooting a takedown. I meant to put that video in our little thing, but I forgot to.
Yeah.
Basically,
That one's got to be just like a weak chin, no?
yeah, or it just hit right in the sweet spot. People were saying like his hit bone hit him on the temple. I guess it could be a freak accident, but that's got to be a sign of it's time to hang it up.
Yeah.
We got some news about your guy today. It's not official news or anything, but we got some social media posts. This isn't your guy, but Dricus du Plessis post on his Instagram. Looks like someone wants another beating in Australia. I'm in. I also wouldn't want to fight the King of Africa on home soil. Manifestation's working good for you again. That could only be about one guy. Israel, the last style bender, Adesanya, potentially making his return, UFC 305 in September. What's your take on that? You think it's legit? All systems go?
I don't know. I mean, that would have been about a year, no?
Yeah. And I don't think he was serious when he said he was going to take a long, long time off. I think he was just kind of trolling.
I mean, it just depends where he's at mentally, bro. It's just, I don't know. I'm excited. I think he can win that matchup. I think obviously like the Pereira knockout was bad when he lost that. But like I don't think the Strickland like loss was bad. Like yeah, it could have fucked him up mentally because he was just like stuck in mud the whole night. But it wasn't like a bad loss where he got knocked down. He can't like recover.
Like so a physically bad. Yeah,
it's more mentally, which can also be just as bad. But I mean, I think this is a perfect matchup for Izzy. I think he wins this, then he gets it back with Sean Strickland.
And do you think the other middleweights have a fair complaint if Izzy does get this title shot coming off of a loss? It would be his second title shot coming off a loss. I think the first one, no one was mad about that. Obviously, it was the Pereira thing.
I don't think so because if Sean Strickland would have defended the belt against Dricus, Izzy was still the next guy. Like pretty much everybody, a lot of people, you get second chances to defend it. I mean, especially if you're Izzy. Like I understand, like he lost it twice and got it not just once, but I don't think that first one really. I mean, obviously it counts, but that was obviously a no-brainer. And then this one, I mean, Dricus wants it. It was supposed to. I think a lot of it was supposed to happen. That was the big thing. Obviously, when we were there at 290 and they came in the cage. But like, yeah, I mean, middleweight division is weird though. Obviously we have announcement. Khamzat and Whittaker, will go right into that. Khamzat and Whittaker, announced in June, Abu Dhabi. You would like to think the winner of that maybe gets a shot. But it's hard. I mean, it's hard. Do you give Whittaker a shot if he wins? It's tough because Izzy's beat him 3 times and but is that 3 losses to Izzy? Is a win over Khamzat bigger than 3 losses to Izzy? I don't know.
Yeah, it's tough, man. We're gonna have to get in our bags again in the next few months after these play out. Yeah, dude, Saudi Arabia is complaining.
Is this a fight night?
Yeah, Saudi Arabia, bro. They complained and it paid off. Remember they bitched about the one card headlined by I don't even remember who it was headlined by, but Umar Nurmagomedov and Mokaev were on it. A lot of those.
Bro, this card is crazy. Whittaker, Khamzat, Sergey Pavlovich and Volkov, Kevin Gastelum and D-Rod, and Johnny Walker and Volkan Ozdemir.
Yes, bro. They complained and they got what they wanted. So I guess I was wrong about them being greedy because shit, man, it worked. That's nuts. They got one of those. They got one of those fight nights. One of them ones right there.
Yeah, that's a pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's basically it's kind of what they said. We want a pay-per-view level card. If you're not gonna give us an actual pay-per-view, we're gonna get a fight night version of it.
Who do you like in that? It's got to be. I mean, I don't know. Whittaker's a tough matchup for him.
And we just saw him Saw him go toe-to-toe and handle Costa. Made me eat my words. I thought he was done, and I think Costa is a lot more dangerous on the feet than Khamzat. I'm not a fan of Khamzat striking one bit. I've made that clear on here before, and I think he was a lot more dangerous at welterweight. When we were doing our top 5 fighters in 2028, I don't think we were thinking that Khamzat wasn't going to be able to make welterweight. Make welterweight. We were thinking he was going to be a 170 guy and maybe move up eventually, but I really don't like him as much up at this bigger weight class. It's going to be interesting to see if he can ragdoll people like he did down at 170. I don't really think that happens. I think Whittaker's more skilled on the feet by a mile. His chin, though, I'm still worried about it. We saw him eat that spinning wheel kick, but that couldn't have helped it.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. I keep thinking guys are tough matchups for Khamzat, and he just finds a way. I guess looking back at it, you can say Usman probably wasn't as pure on the feet to disrupt it.
And
Costa,
yeah.
I mean, so it's tough.
Also, if Kamaru has a full camp, or if that fight was 5 rounds, I think Kamaru takes it. Tides were starting to turn in that 3rd round, and he took that thing on 10 days' notice on the other side of the world.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I would love to see the line for that. Do we have a line for that?
Yup. DraftKings released some early odds. We've got Khamzat minus 166, little specific, and Robert Whittaker plus 140. I like Bobby Knuckles there.
I don't know, dude. If Khamzat's less than 170, you got to take that. But you're not as high on Khamzat. You're not that high on Khamzat.
I was high on welterweight Khamzat, where he was locked in on making that weight, but I'm not as high on middleweight Khamzat.
But when has he? But like you keep saying that, but like when has he lost?
Yeah, but his only wins that make you go wow were against Gilbert Burns, which was a close ass fight. Kamaru Usman, close ass fight on short notice, and I guess Kevin Holland. And all those guys are at the 170-pound division. I don't really know if I would expect those guys to beat top middleweights.
Yeah.
So I just want to see it. If he goes out there and does what he does to welterweights to Robert Whittaker, I'll be right back on the Khamzat train. But I got to see it to a true middleweight. I've been saying that. I was throwing Cannonier out there. Costa was obviously almost going to happen. I even think Vettori gives him a tough night out. I just want to see him against some of those bigger bodies that can grapple.
Let's play a what if here. Izzy beats Dricus. Bobby Knuckles beats Khamzat. What happens?
Shit. Sean Strickland? I don't know. You can't go Whittaker, Izzy.
Yeah, no.
You can't go what would it be, 3 or 4?
4. What they really want is Khamzat and Izzy.
Yeah, that's the one, bro. I think they wanted that for 300. It just cards didn't fall in the right places. Like I think a year or 2 ago, that's probably a fight that they had circled as a 300 headliner if it went the right direction.
Yeah, 100%.
I wish 100%. Bo Nickel would get fast-tracked a little quicker. I mean, he's not young. He's like 29 years old.
Yeah.
He's almost entering that prime age. He's another very interesting matchup. I think him versus Khamzat down the road, that's another one that could be massive.
Yeah, definitely. Back in the Apex this week, Brendan Allen versus Chris Curtis 2. You got some info on that matchup here for us.
Yep. So they fought back in 2021. I believe it was on the Font Aldo fight night. Brendan Allen was kind of winning the first round, but Chris Curtis did what Chris Curtis does. He defended takedowns. He stood in the pocket. He ripped some shots to the body, and he landed some shots up top and ended up TKOing Allen in the second round. And since that fight, this is how their careers have gone. Brendan Allen's Sherdog is on the left. Chris Curtis is on the right. You can't really see the details, but just look at the colors. Brendan Allen hasn't lost since that fight on a 6-fight win streak, 5 of them coming by submission. Whereas Chris Curtis, it hasn't been bad. He's 4-2-1. I would say he's fought better guys as well. And for those reasons, I think Chris Curtis is a live dog this weekend, an extremely live dog.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm with you on that. I'm with you. But I mean, I just look at Brendan Allen's last couple fights, compared to Chris Curtis. You look at the age. I think I'm all over Brendan Allen here.
Yeah, the age is tough. Where they're at in their careers, obviously, Allen's on the better spot. But
Yeah.
I almost think of this as like a Pantoja Moreno type beat. Where, Moreno might have been having the better run in the UFC. He might have beaten the better guys. It makes sense that he wins, but just something about it when the cage closes with those two. Chris Curtis
Yeah.
has one of the highest takedown defense percentages in UFC history. And Brendan Allen, if he's going to win, it's most likely going to have to be by submission. And he did get on Chris Curtis's back in that first fight. He jumped on his back, tried to backpack him, got in a decent spot, and Curtis was able to get out of it. Also got in some okay spots on the ground, and Curtis was able to get out of it. And you know what I say about those Extreme Couture guys? They're always going with the best wrestlers all year round. And I don't know. I just really like the style for Curtis here, I guess. And I'm high on Allen. I think Allen's really good in that division, but something about this one, just Pantoja Moreno vibes.
All right.
And the line for that one,
Brendan Allen. -200.
Yep. Boom. Curtis like plus 170 or something like that.
Yes, sir.
160. Was rad.
Yes, sir.
All right, and getting into what the sports world's really been looking at this month. We love the great sport of MMA, but it's been a little bit of a dry period between 299 and 300. There's still fights that we've loved to watch and talk about and cover, but it's the greatest tournament in the world, as Jalen said last weekend, March Madness. Final Four is set. Alabama, UConn, NC State, and Purdue. We'll start off. How are you feeling about the Final Four? I know you're a big UConn guy. You're still confident in the Huskies?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I think until they lose, you got to be. I mean, pure dominance. 30-0 run against a top 25 team in the country, insane. The level of attention to detail that they have every single night, even blowing teams out and coming and just doing it again, just being bullies every single night, just going out there and beating teams' ass. It's impressive. It's hard to do. Stay locked in for that long. It's a tough tournament to win. You got to win 5 games, 4 games, and you'd be really good. You can't have any slip ups, and they haven't had any close games ever since last tournament started. They haven't had a game within 15 points in 2 tournaments. So, I mean, just pure dominance. I mean, you can't say you're not confident. I would love to see. I mean, I don't know. I can't sit here and say Purdue's not the second best team in the country, because they probably are. But I would just, as a bias, because I like Alabama as well. I would love to see these teams in the national championship, but I think this is a really great, one of the best Final Four matches we've seen in a long time. Alabama and UConn.
Bama's electric, bro. The pace that they play at is nuts. They push the ball up the court so fast. And what's number 2's name? The guy with the mustache, North Dakota?
Oh, Grant Nelson.
Yes, he's a guy, bro. He just has that. I think he could be solid in the NBA too. He's tall, highly skilled, plays defense on the perimeter and around the rim. What about DJ Burns in the Zach Edey matchup? That's going to be a cool one to just – I want to see that play out in front of my eyes. I almost feel like Burns is going to foul out in the first 10 minutes.
Yeah,
but he is a highly, highly skilled guy, and he moves people.
I think it's a bad matchup. Obviously, Edey is a bad matchup for anybody, but, I mean, Burns – I don't think Burns will get anything off around the rim. Edey's just too long. They play through Burns a lot. I just don't – the style of play that NC State plays, I don't see how they score much against Purdue. So it's going to be tough. I mean, I just don't see how Burns can score. I mean, he's going to obviously has a deep bag, crafty, little up and unders, but I mean, Edey's just 7'6". He's going to stand there with his hands up.
What about little pick and pops in the mid-range shots? Because Burns has that in his bag too. I feel like if they were able to, if Burns made a couple of those early and they made Edey respect that and kind of get away from the rim, and then Burns can do what he does passing the ball, that could be a good recipe. But I'm also favoring Edey. Do you think that matchup determines how that game goes pretty much?
Not necessarily. Obviously, it's a big matchup because both teams play through both those guys. So if Burns struggles, NC State's going to struggle. But a lot of it just comes down to in the tournament. You just got to make shots, and who can generate the most shots. You got to find a way to pull Edie out out of the paint. But again, it's hard to do. I mean, obviously everyone has that game plan, everyone has that idea, but Purdue's just so good at it. You got to go at Edie early. You got to get him in foul trouble. Yeah, I mean, you can't just send a double every time. It's tough. I mean, you kind of just got to shoot it well. I mean, maybe you just kind of say, hey, go get your 40 and we're going to make threes and beat you. But I mean, Tennessee did that well early and still got hit. So it's tough.
Yeah. I think
I don't know.
Klingon
I don't know what I would do defensively or offensively to score, to generate points. It's tough.
might just have to have a guy like Klingon on your team. Luckily,
Yeah.
UConn does. I feel like he might have Edie in hell.
Yeah,
he's a guy, bro.
Out there, yeah.
He looked like Shaq against Illinois.
Yeah.
He literally looked like prime Shaq in that. I was like, what am I watching right now? And I can't lie. I sprinkled a little on Illinois to cover because I was high on those dudes. Terrence Shannon had been hooping all tournament.
NC State money line. I took NC State money line, baby.
Woo! We were texting about that one. I said, you think they got action? You said, definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely they got action. That's right. Who's your MVP so far in the March? It could even be a team that's not in the Final Four, just out of all the games that have happened.
I'm going to change the rules here. My MVP is Nate Oates, Alabama head coach.
Okay.
I've been high on this team for 4 years. I took them 2 years ago in day one of the college basketball season. I put 100 on them to win the national championship. That year they lost to UCLA, I think, in the Elite Eight. So I've been high on this team for a long time. I've been high on Nate Oates since he was at Buffalo. It's my guy. Just coaching his ass off, scoring the ball at will. And a lot of people are really, obviously their offense is key. They score 100 points, whatever. They really defend. They really guard. They've been guarding really well. They've had a top 20 defense since the conference tournament in the whole NCAA. So Nate Oates, I think Nate Oates done a great job. I think obviously he had his hands full with UConn, but taking this team to the Final Four, didn't have a great year. I mean, they were around 25 in the country all year. Obviously, that's a great year, but not where they were in the past couple of years in the top 10. So everyone thought this was a down year, but he just kept coming, kept working, kept fighting, really got better defensively, and here they are. That's
true. Last year, they were the number 1 overall seed, and this year, everyone kind of written them off, and yeah, they're right here. What was I going to say? Didn't Nate Oates kind of have an untraditional route to being a Big Ten head coach?
High school coach.
Straight to Buffalo? And then
no, high school coach, Buffalo assistant, Buffalo head coach, and then Bama.
But like, that's just a lot of winning.
Yeah.
That's just a lot of winning right there. All right, my MVP, I'll go can't say Terrence Shannon after that last game. I was all over Terrence Shannon up until that UConn game, but can't be the MVP and go out like that. I'll go DJ Burns. DJ Burns has just been nuts this tournament. He's almost looked like the Joker. Not quite, but he's looked like a college version of the Joker. I was thinking, imagine if the Nuggets took him in the second round and just got him on the Joker program, like everything Jokic did since he was a rookie, just like body type wise, and just had him learn from him.
Yeah, but the thing that makes Joker so good is like his feel and just his stuff you can't teach.
Yeah, Burns has some of that, like not all that, but he has some.
Bro, when he went like up and under, spun, and then hit the floater, that was tough.
That looked like Joker. I was like, bro, that's a Joker move right there.
That was tough. Yeah, it's gonna be a great Final Four, bro. I think it's one of the most like exciting Final Fours in a long time.
I agree.
Like obviously, Purdue's a great team. In State obviously will be here, but like you got the Burns to Edie matchup, and then just 2 phenomenal teams in UConn and Bama. That's just gonna be a great game.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, great coach game too.
Yeah,
Danny Hurley's a genius. He's a coaching genius. He's got to already be top 5 all time, right? I guess there's a lot of great coaches, but if he wins this year, for sure.
Yeah, back to back, it's fucking tough.
Bro, Billy Donovan was the coach at Florida when they went back to back, right?
Correct.
He's got to get back in college. Is he still at the Bulls?
Yeah, bring him and Brad Stevens back to college for real.
Bro, I heard Kentucky's gonna throw a big number Brad Stevens way.
Really?
I heard from a Kentucky sports radio guy. They're gonna throw.
They're bringing Cal back though.
They already said that. Damn,
yeah. That's the move, bro. If they were to fire Cal, that you go Brad Stevens or Billy Donovan.
Yup. Or there's one more out there that I feel like would be elite too. I can't think of him. I think Scott Drew from Baylor. That's a good name for a big blue blood school to hire because he should move up. It's time.
Yeah, he was in some Louisville conversations.
You got any news on who USC may hire?
Eric Musselman interviews tomorrow.
I thought we could. I wanted to get a guy. I feel like Musselman's solid, but he's not a guy.
He's good, bro. He wins everywhere he's gone. I mean, other than this year, he's taken Arkansas deep in the tournament a lot of times.
That's true. I just thought they were good. The year when they had Nick Smith, I thought they were going to be nice, but they just didn't.
It's hard. It's hard to win, for real. So doing it consistently and almost getting consistency is like, I mean, obviously it's not good, but like being able to go to consistent Sweet 16s, Elite Eights is hard.
Yeah, Mark Few, bro. That's a guy. If you're Kentucky, would you throw an offer his way, or like if they hadn't re-signed Cal? If you're a big name program looking for a guy,
if I'm Kentucky, I think my first call is obviously because you gotta think if you're Kentucky basketball, you're like Alabama football. Alabama football call it everybody, no matter what job they had, whatever. So I think your first call is probably Danny Hurley. And then I think probably a Nate Oates, and then you start Billy Donovan, Brad Stevens, guys like that.
Oh, Jay Wright was the other guy that I think of earlier. He was the one that I was saying. Stevens and Jay Wright would be my first two calls.
I want Jay Wright to go to North Carolina if they were to. I mean, obviously Hubert Davis did a good job, but Jay Wright's North Carolina.
Bro, I'd fire a lot of people for Jay Wright right now. Pretty much everyone outside of like Hurley, Self, maybe
yeah. Jay Wright to Kentucky would be nuts.
Or Duke. I don't think he's not a Duke guy.
No, you got to keep it in the brotherhood.
That's crazy how that is. Coach K was an Army guy, right?
Yeah.
Weaseled his way in.
Yeah. Carolina too, same way. You kind of got to have played there or coached there a long time.
Yeah, that's gonna hold him back in the long run, but
Jay Wright to Kentucky would be elite. Jay Wright's a guy.
Would you take Jay Wright or Stevens?
Probably
Wright's so proven in the tournament, but
probably Jay Wright because he did it the last and latest. But I mean, you can't go wrong with that.
That Butler run back in the day,
multiple times.
I forgot about that.
How many programs would you say are like Kentucky level? Like obviously no one's Alabama football level, but like you have like Alabama, then you have like Texas, you know what I'm saying? Like how many programs would you say like that in basketball? Because like how many jobs would, like if you're Jay Wright or Brad Stevens, how many jobs do you answer the phone for?
I feel like Kansas has the pedigree, but no one's taking that job. Bill Self, he's safe. I bet Bill Self would get, a lot of people would fire their coach for Bill Self, like everyone except for
Kansas, Kentucky, UCLA, right? I mean, we saw Louisville open, and it wasn't really. I mean, they had guys wanting it, but no one like.
Yeah, Duke.
There's a lot of people would leave. Like people would leave elite jobs to go to Kentucky.
Dude, Georgetown had the chance if they would have had a better guy after John Thompson Jr. If they had gotten a guy and just stayed on that track, because they have the history. But I guess UConn, honestly, dude, UConn flies under the radar, but they've had, I think, 5 national titles or 4 since '99.
They're blue blood, bro. They're blue blood.
Yeah, and they've had their NBA guys stack up too.
Yeah.
Ray Allen, I always forget he went there. What about Michigan? No, Michigan State's not that high, huh?
Nah. I mean, yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, it's got to be just Kentucky. It'd be interesting to see if that opens. I mean, one more down here, you figure it's got to open. But yeah.
I'm surprised it didn't this year, dude.
Good conversation there.
That was. I also heard from that Kentucky Sports Radio guy that Cal, he has like a bad relationship with the AD now because like the one that they had success with is gone. And then he's not really that good with the fans or the media anymore. Like he's kind of just on an island there.
Well, it's just everyone gets to pay players now, so everyone gets that ability, and now you have to actually coach.
Yeah, that's true. It's just so weird because they were always I guess they just had such crazy talent. How do you not be good?
I would not, and today as we speak, not 10 years ago, not 15 years ago, today as we speak, I would not trust John Calipari to run my freshman practice.
Damn.
Not even like talking on my ass, not a bold statement. Like I'm genuinely saying that.
I mean, yeah, he
has no concept of how to coach modern day basketball.
Damn, I believe it, dude. When you watch their teams play. What about Slick Rick? Would Kentucky give him a call?
You know, I'm a big Rick Pitino guy. So I'm biased.
Slick Rick, bro.
I love a cheater. I love a cheater for real.
He didn't even cheat. He just did what he did. Everyone did.
If I ever get a head job, I'm me and Rick Pitino, same person for real. I'm for sure cheating. Tell you that right now.
Shit, I'll delete that if you ever get a job.
I have to edit this out, but I'm for sure cheating. 1000%. 1000%. I'm cheating.
Everything you can possibly do is gonna be done.
All banners hang the same.
I'm dead. Bro, I got April Fool's bad. I saw a post saying the Astros championship got canceled or taken away or whatever, and I was like, "How's that even possible?" But I'm happy about it.
So it was like early in the morning when I woke up, and it was April Fool's, and then I see on Instagram that one of our like friends posted that they were having a baby. So I put it in a group chat, and I was like, "Bro, what the fuck?" And they were like, "Bro, April Fool's," and I was like, "Ah." So ever since like that moment early on, I didn't believe no news the rest of the day.
Yeah, that's a lead. You got it out of the way early.
Yeah.
I was struggling through the day. I got with a couple.
Yeah, no, I knew early.
I don't like it. I just scroll through and like look at it as news, and I'm like, "Oh, okay." And I just like scroll to the next, and then, and like dude, is next week is UFC 300, huh?
Yes, sir.
We might have to do like 2 preview shows, like for the prelim, just split it down the middle because we'll
do a prelim preview and then a main card preview.
Yup, get dialed in. I want to make a lot of money on that card. I need it. I'm due.
You and me both, brother.
Yup. All right then. Appreciate you.
All right.
Till next week. Deuces.
Later.